you're speaking to vulnerable people, not just educated people in society.
Yes, but you have a choice. Do you die screaming like a little girl, or do you die with dignity?
Can I just intercept with one thing?
Some people are in survival
You made a good
mode.
point about 5 minutes back. You did say you go to like Jordan, Israel, Afghanistan, or India, or some religion. The women are poor. They have nothing. Maybe no fathers have been killed. They have nothing. Yet you don't see them act that way.
But they have a different form of what.
You know, that's a
they have a
like.
different form of that. They marry, even if a guy's 20 years older than him, they'll marry into him when she's 15 years old because they're in survival mode. So I think what we're neglecting is if men stop investing in these girls, these OnlyFans girls, and start investing in the good girls, there's more motivation to be good. But if I was a 14-year-old in this day and age, I'd be like, I'm just going to work out and get a BBL and get a shortcut.
It's valid. It's a good point.
But society's degenerate. It's not men and women. Society's degenerate. It depends on what part of the world, of course, as well. But especially in the Western world, there are such benefits for degeneracy, and there's no stigma against it. There's none of the stigma. Even the things you're discussing and talking about, I agree with you completely. But a lot of these girls don't feel any shame. They don't feel any ounce of shame.
And it's a job. It's no different to a job. We've normalized it to the point where it just feels like a job for these women. And I think that when I was saying to them when I was younger and before, if you were known as, in my culture, Pakistani, you grew up in Luton, so if I even walked into a restaurant with a boy, it would be like, oh my God, she's such a slag. Like straight away, I'd get a label and I wouldn't be able to get married. But now these girls are getting married to rappers. They're having kids with rappers. A stripper is getting married. So what motivation is left for young women when men are dropping their standards in terms of promiscuity? They don't mind a promiscuous woman anymore.
I don't think men are ever going to stop wanting to see bikini pictures. You know what I mean? It's not going to change. That's why I'm saying it's up to us. Like I'm saying, we really need to make the effort because we are the mothers. You know what I mean? I just feel like we're taking away from our power. And I agree with you in what you're saying because yes, a lot of girls don't have opportunities, X and Y. That's why I think it's all about education. You know, you find a lot of wrong things going on in society, mostly in the poorer areas as well. So it is really all about education, I think.
Yeah, but I do think that's a privilege.
I think the term is like Andrew's mentioned before on podcast, godless. Godless society.
There's a huge split. What we're discussing here is not universal across the planet, right? The things we're discussing here, the idea of women, like you're saying, having a reputation and promiscuity being frowned upon, all those things make perfect sense here. The idea of a woman sticking to education and not getting a bad reputation and working hard, that makes sense here. But in Miami, it's godless. It's completely, it's a godless city.
If I don't believe in God, praise be to God, I do. But if I don't have the idea that God's watching me, what motivation as a young girl with a great body and great looks would I have to go the long route to getting success when there's a man willing to pay me 2-3 grand just for a feet pick?
Well, I think
so why don't we address the men in not being?
But are we all going to be sheep? Like for example, and a lot of people say he has money, he has it all. Why would you become Muslim when you have everything? Why would he want to limit himself in a way? So surely God's given us brains or ways to think, what is life about? What's the purpose?
It's not just God watching, but it's not just as God watching, I'm going to go to hell. You know what I mean? I think it goes beyond that. I mean, you still have a brain. God created you with a brain. You should still have principles without that. But I think even when it comes to, yes, education is a privilege, but nowadays the real influence is on social media. And any kid in Gaza, there's an amazing rapper in Gaza, God bless him, like he's on social media, he's an influencer, you know what I mean? Even if a kid in Gaza has access to social media, then we can have influence. That's why we need more women role models.
Yeah, definitely need that.
And then the influencers will also become less and less because girls will see, well, you know what, I do have another chance, I do have another option.
But I think the broader question is, I'd like to ask you two very intelligent ladies, why do you think society is trying to program women to act this way? Because I believe society is trying to, especially in the West, it's trying very hard. We're talking about the advantages of a girl doing OnlyFans, for example. Yes, her life can improve. But the broader question is, why is all the culture, all of society, the matrix as a whole, trying to destroy the baseline morality of humans, men and women? Because they're trying to convince men not to be men, everything that was traditionally masculine. Everything I've said has got me canceled. They tried to ruin my life for saying a man should be a man. And if you say a woman should be a woman and she should protect herself and protect her access to herself and she should not allow men to just view her naked, etc., then you're somehow demonized. And they want to put Cardi B in place instead, where she's saying that everything that a woman can get naked and that's fantastic, and anyone who disagrees with it is it slut shaming? Is that called a thing?
Shaming.
So why is society doing this to men and women? That's the real question.
Well, I think if you're breaking down the home, the best and quickest way to do that is attacking the woman. And there's more money in lonely, sad women. We consume everything. So if I get to a certain age and I'm not married, I'm going to be more likely to be on prescription drugs. I'm going to be more likely to turn to surgery. I'm going to be more likely to just indulge. Whereas when you have a purpose, those things all take a back burner. So that's why I think it's completely designed to make more money and to destroy the home and make people dependent on, then your God becomes social media. When you don't have a God and you don't have a stable home, your God becomes society. The laws determine your morality. And the quicker they can get you to believe that God doesn't exist and the law is your source of morality, the quicker they can control you.
I think there's definitely an agenda for sure. Absolutely, 100%. But I think the only way to fight it is to stick to, to have discipline, to not follow like. Last year I made a decision. I went on my Instagram. I was like, okay, I myself am following some influencers. So I was like, unfollow. Just be more aware of your lifestyle and your surroundings and your friends and what you're consuming on Netflix. You know what I mean?
Do you guys follow girls on Instagram?
No, they fixed that for me.
By deleting me from the platform. Do you have it? He only has MySpace.
MySpace.com. That's what I
Honestly,
bringing back MySpace.
I only follow my wife.
Oh.
Yeah, and actually Lubna now because with the podcast and probably you, I think.
Yeah.
And that's from work relationship. And you can tell.
Yeah.
It's nothing more than that. And it's
Did you when you first came on social media?
I never have.
No?
You would have never seen me ever follow FHM girls. It's like never.
Really? You just used to go straight to the message?
No.
No.
I'm a Muslim. I practice my religion to the extent that I can. And for me, even if you were to do sins, I think I'd be ashamed to be public about it.
Yeah, exactly.
As I'm like, you'd be ashamed. Everything's for privacy. These women, like you said, they're proud of showing booty. A man men have always been okay, like you said, through society. Like our dads came as freshies on the boats to the UK, saw a white girl, blonde hair. They're probably perved into strip clubs, but it wasn't you don't share it. It's just like a thing you do. But women now, making it a public thing is like we're celebrating porn in a way which was out, like it was seen as shameful only a few years ago. So that's what's.
Well, yeah, I don't want to take responsibility away from men, but women have always been the gatekeepers. Men have always been men. I think if you look at any period of history in any part of the world, no matter what the culture, if men had unlimited access to sex, they'd take it. I think it's biological for men to be that way and try and reproduce as many women as possible. I think that women have always been the gatekeepers. They've always been the ones who are saying no. And if women break down the gates and no longer say no, then they're going to have promiscuous societies in godless cities like Miami, like I just described. And I agree with you in terms of them deliberately trying to destroy the family home. They are doing that. Part of it's for consumerism because they want consumerism to be our gods. That's absolutely part of it. But another reason is I think a lot of the plans that people have who are in charge of the world across the next 100 years are truly draconian and they're truly evil. And the things they're going to plan to do to people and the lives we're going to be forced to live. And if you destroy the family unit, if you destroy the idea of standing up, the problem is if a man has a family, he'll die for it. If a man's woman doesn't listen to him, his kids he doesn't talk to, when they come along with these draconian rules and bullshit, you're kind of like, oh, whatever. I'll just move. I'll just move country or I'll just leave it or I don't care, right? They're trying to destroy the resistance and the resilience amongst the population so they can make slaves of us all. And I think that the family unit is a big part of that.
And
yeah,
that's right.
Woman is the best way to do it.
Well, absolutely. Because if you have a woman who's truly ride or die, truly by your side, and kids who truly love you, you're going to stand on that porch with a shotgun and say, no, you're not coming in this house. But when you don't have that, it gets to a point where it's like, not my fight, not my problem. And it actually extrapolates, not just from the family unit, it goes bigger and bigger. This is the reason why in Western societies, nobody knows each other. Nobody likes each other. If you live in a street in England, you don't know anyone. You don't know. You can live there your whole life. You don't talk to nobody. And then even if you do start to meet people, you don't like, he's that color, don't like him. He's from there, don't like him. He likes that kind of car, don't like him. Nobody likes each other. Society is completely degraded. There's no baseline morality. There's no unifying factor. There's absolutely nothing.